So good morning, everyone. Lovely to know that you're there, and welcome to Jessica. And I know whatever I say today, Jessica will forgive me. But anyway, I couldn't say anything but lovely things about her, and we look forward very much to the talk. It's a very important topic, forgiveness. Thank you, Jessica.
Hello and welcome. So today's topic is the power of forgiveness. And I think a lot of us think that to forgive someone is a sign of weakness, that we're actually giving in to the other person and allowing them perhaps to hurt us again. They've hurt us once, and then if we forgive them, they'll hurt us again. But actually, forgiving someone is quite the opposite. To forgive someone means we're in a state of power. We've got inner strength to not be influenced by what someone else is doing, however potentially harmful or hurtful it may be. We're not allowing it to influence us and take away our happiness. So today we're going to explore how to do this and the benefits of it, and I'll share some of my own experiences as well as some meditation. So how does it feel when we don't forgive someone? My experience is that whatever has happened to hurt me will keep going on and on in my head. I'll relive it. And every time I relive it, I'm feeling the hurt again. So it's like they hurt me once, but I'm hurting myself again and again and again each time I relive it and think about it. So my happiness goes, and negative emotions come, like I might feel angry, resentful, hatred, dislike. I don't feel loving anymore. My self-respect goes down. So I actually fall into quite a low state, meaning that I feel very negative and unhappy. So there's no real benefit for me in not forgiving. And what's more, that low state, those negative feelings are not only harmful for me and my happiness, but they're harmful for the body, because those vibrations are going out into my body and they're going out into the atmosphere. They'll influence others, because if I'm not forgiving someone, I'm feeling annoyed, I'm more likely to bring that into other relationships I have. But that relationship with that person who has hurt me also won't heal. I'm holding on to that feeling of hurt, and so I'm holding on to that vision of the other person being the perpetrator in some way, the bad person. And so our relationship can't heal. It'll just keep ping-ponging between us, bad feelings. Both of us are in a low state, if that's happening. So one of us has to choose to lift themselves up out of that low state of ping-ponging bad thoughts and negativity. So it's the stronger one who can do that, who can lift themselves up into a place where they're peaceful and calm and loving. And then that is a state of forgiving, and that's where change happens. Change can happen in the relationship. Change happens in how I feel. Which I think is a good thing, isn't it? And actually, when I'm in that high state, I maintain my dignity. Because it's not actually very dignified to dislike someone or to feel angry. I've actually lost touch with my inner peaceful self. So we want to hold on to our dignity and stay loving. So how do we do this? There are a number of things that can help us. The first thing is to actually separate the person from the act. So someone has done something that's hurt me in some way, but I need to separate them from the act. When I'm forgiving them, I'm not actually saying it's okay what you did. That's not what forgiving is about. It's quite fine to actually tell someone what you did perhaps was wrong, caused some damage. Forgiving is not letting what they did influence me. So I recognize the difference between them and what they did. What they did is wrong, but they're not wrong. And that's because with spiritual understanding, we know that each one of us is a spiritual being whose true nature is to be peaceful, loving, and happy. And when someone is doing something that hurts me, they're actually just under the influence of some weakness. So at that time, it's not the true them. And so understanding this helps me have more compassion, actually, that this person has fallen down from their dignity of being peaceful, loving soul. They've fallen down in some way and displayed bad behaviour that's not really true to them. And it's come about because of their neediness. They've needed perhaps love, understanding, acknowledgement. Perhaps they needed some respect from others. They were wanting something. They didn't get it. And so that's why they fell down into this bad behaviour to try and get it. So when I understand that, I also can have more compassion for them because they're actually crying out for some help. But if I'm down in a low state myself, feeling negative, feeling dislike, I'm not going to see all this. I'm not going to understand all this. I'm down there with them in a low state of negativity. I won't feel like giving them any love, any respect. So really what I need to do is lift myself up so that I can have that vision on them as a soul, that they truly are peaceful, loving soul. And then with that vision, I can give to them whatever they need. Because forgive has got the word give in it. So forgiving, it's actually an action that has giving in it. And I'm giving in a spiritual way. I'm giving by understanding them, their true self as a soul, understanding that they're in need at the moment of love, understanding, compassion, and then giving them that, giving them actually love. And meditation is what actually allows us to do this. Meditation is what pulls us up into a state of being higher so that we've got the love to give someone, even if they've done something wrong, done something potentially hurtful. Because meditation brings us into our true self of who we really are, that dignified self that's loving, no matter what. If I can't do that, it means I'm needy. I'm actually needing respect from someone. I'm needing love from someone. So if I can't forgive someone, it's really a signal to me that I need to work on myself more. Not that I need to tell someone off, dislike them. Actually the opposite. I need to work on myself, bring myself up so that things can change. And for this too, I need to remove in myself whatever it is that's getting hurt by someone else. So you probably know that the big thing we all have that gets hurt is our ego. And if we can actually get our ego out of the picture, we won't get hurt. And also if we can remove our attachments to things. These are the two areas that lead to us not forgiving people quite often. So someone hurts my ego, they criticise me, they criticise what I'm doing, they don't respect my ideas, I'll feel hurt. I won't forgive them. Or they hurt something that I'm attached to. It might be my car. They damage my car. I can't forgive them. Or they criticize my children who I'm attached to. I can't forgive them. So it's very good if we can work on ourselves that we don't actually depend on anything external to us for our feeling of who we are. Because who I am is a soul, a point of light behind the forehead. That's where I should get my dignity from, knowing this, having this respect, that I'm a soul that can't be hurt, an eternal being of peace. No one can damage this. No one can hurt this. But if I think that I'm this body, that I'm my job, that I'm my children, or the parents of my children, you know, that's me, that's my identity, and someone criticizes that, then I'll get hurt and I won't forgive. So we have to realize all those things aren't us. I'm just playing the role of being the parent. I've got the responsibility to look after my children, but they're separate souls to me, and who they are is them. And we're separate. When I have that realization that we're separate, then that helps break the attachment. Same with my car. It's just something that I'm using. But if someone scratches it, it's not the end of the world. But some people actually take their identity from their car. It's like part of their identity to have a smart car, not scratched. So if that's the case, you would get hurt and perhaps not forgive someone who scratched your car. So if you feel that you can't forgive someone for something, it's a good signal to check yourself. What is it then that really is getting hurt here? Am I attached to something? Am I attached to some role I'm playing? Is there some aspect of myself that I'm taking pride from and have a bit of arrogance about? And then I can work at and change it. Now, meditation is the answer to all of this. Meditation gives us our self-respect, our dignity back in a true way of being a spiritual being. It removes our ego, it removes our attachment to things, because we realize those are temporary things, temporary supports, they're not us. And just they naturally fall away from being our support, because we're actually taking support instead from that idea of being, or that feeling and experience of being a soul. And then in meditation too, we fill up with what we need: love, self-respect, and happiness. And that's what happens when we take the step in our meditation to link to the Supreme Soul, the soul who is, like us, a tiny, tiny point of light. So just a dot. This soul, though, is so powerful, so loving, that in meditation we can take as much love and power as we like, so that we feel good, so that we're up here feeling good, feeling that we can give to others and not be hurt by what others say and do. So let's have a meditation now and just experience this. Just sit comfortably with your eyes open. You might like to look at the picture of the soul behind me. So this is a picture of you. It's also a picture of the Supreme Soul. So first in the meditation we're going to go inside ourselves and really feel I am that point of light, that peaceful soul, that loving soul. And then we're going to remember who the Supreme Soul is. A tiny, tiny point of loving energy. A powerful soul who's giving us that love and that power. And then that energy, that love from the Supreme will automatically come into us and fill us up. So I'm going to speak a commentary now. You just follow the words and feel it. I remember who I am. The soul, point of light, like a little star inside the body. I'm a peaceful soul. This is my true dignity. No one can hurt me, no matter what they say. No one can take away my dignity of being a peaceful, loving soul, a happy soul. The more I remember this and visualize myself as this little star, the more I feel content and happy, so that nothing hurts me. And then I take myself far beyond the universe. As a soul, I leave this room that I'm in, leave my body behind, and I just see myself as this little star, this soul, surrounded in golden red light. I've reached my spiritual home, land of silence, land of peace. And I feel safe here. This is my home. And in front of me is the Supreme Soul, the one soul who has unconditional love for me, totally understands me. And I just visualize that love from the Supreme filling me up. I'm bathing in the light and the love from the Supreme Soul. This is actually all I need. I need nothing else. It's this love that will help me maintain my dignity in who I am, so that nothing hurts me. No one can take the love from the Supreme for me away. It's my right to have this love. And by just remembering the Supreme Soul, that love flows into me. And when I've filled up enough, I float back down into the room, into my body, feeling complete and happy. Om Shanti. So This meditation, if you practice it every day, does magic. It quietly works on you, the energy you take from the Supreme Soul, and it massages you the soul, and changes you. And over time, my experience is you have more confidence in yourself, so that things don't matter as much. Things that people say and do don't matter so much. And you feel better about yourself, so that when people do wrong things and say wrong things, you genuinely can see what's happening in the situation. That this soul is doing this because they're feeling low, they're unhappy. And you can actually see what their true intention is. Because I don't think people really intend to harm each other, mostly. It's not that. They're just helpless. And they're just thrashing around trying to get the love and the self-respect they need. And in doing that, they're hurting others. But it's not their intention, mostly, to hurt. It's not. And what I've found is when I'm not getting affected by what they're doing, then I can actually see what their intention is. And that's really helpful, because then there's no need to then fall into feeling hurt and feeling angry. Because it's like I understand what's going on here for them. And I also feel, what's my role in this? My role is just to help them. And I can do that if I'm not influenced and I stay calm. So I'll just give you a couple of recent experiences for me in this. They're just little things. So there was one incident where we had some visitors here at the retreat centre who were from India, a couple, and they were really quite important people. And when we have important people, we like to look after them the way that they're used to. You know, we don't want them to be uncomfortable here. So I had said I would provide them with a heater for their bathroom so that they weren't too cold, and that I'd put it outside their room at about 5 in the morning because I was leaving for Sydney. So I'd do it before I left so that they would have it. And I did this. But then I heard afterwards, after they'd left, that why did I not put the heater outside their room? I said, but I did. And apparently they had said that Jessica hadn't put the heater out. So I thought, okay, that means someone took it. So I asked around people who live near that room, and I found out that yes, someone had seen the heater, they had taken it. So I thought, okay, and I talked to them, and I didn't feel annoyed. I was just curious why they took the heater. And it was because they wanted to defrost their fridge. So they have a fridge that freezes up every week. And this little heater was the perfect answer to defrosting their fridge. So I could see their need there. And I said, fine, please ask me next time if you see something outside a room and ask for it, because it's probably there for a reason. But you can use that heater if you need it, because I didn't now need it. The couple had left. But I didn't feel any anger at that time. Now, the old me would have got upset, because the old me would have thought, oh no, that couple think I'm so irresponsible. I didn't help them, I forgot. And I would have beaten myself up a bit about the whole incident and felt annoyed with that person for what they did. But actually, I just didn't. I just wanted to solve the mystery of where the heater had gone. And once I solved it, that was fine. End of story, I thought. But a few months later, which is just this week, I needed to find a heater for someone. And so I went around and I realised I didn't have any heaters left. I'd given them all out. I thought, okay. And I'd said to them, I'll bring you one at lunchtime. And at 10 minutes to lunch, that person who had borrowed the heater for their fridge turned up at my desk and said, oh, you can have this back now. And I said, why, don't you need to defrost your fridge? And they said, oh, I'll ask you for it if I need it. So it's just like magic. I'd totally forgotten that heater was there, that I'd given it, let him keep that heater. And by magic, he'd just brought it to me 10 minutes before lunch when I had said I would have a heater for you. So I think that's an example of the magic that happens when you forgive people. And actually, this is a deeper aspect of forgiveness. When we really forgive someone, it's not actually a conscious thing. There's no there's no conscious effort to forgive because there's no hurt that's already happened first. So with this example of the heater, I wasn't hurt by that heater not being there. I wasn't hurt by what those people might have thought of me, and therefore there was nothing to forgive. And when you are like that, you actually forget the incident, which is what I had done, and so I'd even forgotten where the heater was. So that's real forgiveness, when the thing happens and instantly you've forgotten all about it. You haven't held on to it. You haven't gone over and over in your mind what happened, how it happened, oh no, what am I going to do now? How could they do this? I really hate them for this. None of that happens. And another incident like that happened to me recently was when I was ridiculed in a meeting and someone made fun of me. And I was really surprised because I was watching them while they were doing it and I was just thinking, oh, is that how I sound? Is that how I look? And there was just a curiosity. There was no feeling of hurt. And so I was very pleased with that. There was no bad feelings in me for that person. There was no forgiveness was needed because no hurt had happened. Now, in the past, I would have felt terribly hurt, would have relived that incident in my mind, and each time I would have felt hurt. So I can only say that the reason that didn't happen was because I've been meditating all this time. And really, I've built up a strong enough faith in myself that people can do things like that and it doesn't influence me, doesn't affect me. So it just inspires me to go on further with the meditation and keep working on it to see what else magical can happen, because that's magic, isn't it? When someone does something to hurt you and you don't feel the hurt. And it's also a power. There's power in forgiving because first you've held on to your good feelings inside yourself. You've maintained your dignity. But the other power behind it is that a relationship can be maintained as a good relationship. Or if it's gone sour, it can be turned around and become a good relationship again. In other words, healed. Because a power is a strength for change to happen. And the spiritual change that happens is that feelings change. Feelings that were once bad become good, and a relationship perhaps that was bad becomes good. Now, this doesn't happen instantly. It can take time. You may have to forgive someone and not be influenced by someone many, many times before the change will happen. But I believe strongly that if you keep not being influenced, not falling down to their low level of negativity, dislike, feeling of anger that you've got to pay them back, don't let yourself fall down there. Stay up in your position of being a peaceful soul again and again and again. Hold that position, then eventually things will change. You won't have that bad relationship anymore. So good luck. And just experiment for yourself and see how it works. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. That was lovely. It was very powerful. And I hope we'll all experiment with that and see the magic. Thank you all.
Thanks, Sally.
Thanks, Jessica.